So, this morning we are continuing in Genesis. We are in chapter 28. And last week, do you remember what we went through last week? We had the second time, the deception of Jacob, where he did what? He stole the blessing from his brother, the firstborn, which it was supposed to be his, but if you remember, his mother, Rebekah, went about it the wrong way. Instead of going directly to her husband, her beloved, her dearest, and saying, "Sweetie, remember the prophecy that God gave me, that the older would serve the younger. Okay, remember how our oldest, how he sold his birthright for a pot of stew. Remember how our oldest has forfeited the primary blessings of the firstborn, all these ways, plus he's married Canaanite women, 2 wives. Remember, dearest, remember, beloved, you need to give the blessing to our younger son." She didn't do that. Instead, she came with a plan to deceive her husband because he was set on blessing the eldest. And so Jacob did that. He received the blessing, walks out, he had the hair on his arms from the lamb. He had it on his neck. He had the clothing of his brother Esau, so he smelt like him. And so he deceived his father and left. And then Esau comes in, prepares his food. "Bless me, father." And what happens? His father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" So he said, "I am your son, your firstborn." Then Isaac trembled exceedingly and said, "Who? Where is the one who hunted game and brought to me?" He trembled. Why would he tremble exceedingly? Because he realized what had happened, that he had been deceived, but he was trying to subvert the will of God. He was trying to go against what God had prophesied. And so he was afraid. Yes, he was probably upset that his son did, but he was realizing that he had done the wrong thing. And so, "I can't give you the blessing. My son already gave it away." And Esau is freaking out. "My son, bless me also. Don't you have a blessing for me?" And so he gets a lesser blessing to serve his brother. Okay? And if we look in Hebrews, something that I left out last week, but if we look at Hebrews 11 in the Hall of Faith, where it talks about the faithful patriarchs. In verse 20, chapter 11, verse 20, it says, "By faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come." Okay? So it's interesting. Jacob deceived Isaac. Yet it says here in Hebrews that Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come in faith. So what happened here, when he's trembling, he's like, "I'm not going to undo that blessing." In faith, he realized that was what God's will was. And so he doubled down on that blessing. "Nope, I'm going to give you the lesser blessing. Your brother has stolen it from you, deceived me, but I'm not going to undo it because that is what God had wanted." And so Esau is reasonably upset. Well, kind of reasonably. He's upset because he is tricked. He's reasonably in the world's ways, and so he wants to kill his brother. And knowing, or at least believing knowing his father's old, believing that his father was near to death, he said, "I'm going to wait until after my father dies, after we can mourn him. We put him in the grave, and then I'm going to kill my brother Jacob." And this got back to their mom. Okay? Went back to Rebekah, and she had another plan. What was this plan? For Jacob to go back to her family, to her brother, to his family, and stay there for a while and get a wife there for a while, and then he could return when Esau calmed down. Okay, so that's where we're going to pick up. Chapter 28, verse 1. "Then Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said to him, 'You shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take yourself a wife from there of the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, that you may be an assembly of peoples, and give you the blessing of Abraham, to you and your descendants with you, that you may inherit the land in which you are a stranger, which God gave to Abraham. So Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Padan Aram, to Laban the son of Bethuel the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. So here we have, so Rebekah had gone to Jacob and said, okay, this is the plan. You need, not to Jacob, to Isaac. You need to send son away. I don't want him to have a wife from here, from these pagan women, these Canaanites. It's horrible, like Esau, that they just vex my soul. Send him back to our family, back to my brother. And so that's what Jacob does, or Isaac does. He calls Jacob and he blesses him. And it's interesting now, here he's giving him the full recognition of the blessing. Not is he just blessing him as a firstborn, but he's giving him the full blessing that God gave to Abraham. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, that you may be an assembly of peoples, and give you the blessing of Abraham. So he's acknowledging it was supposed to go to him, okay? And I'm giving it to him now. To your descendants with you, that you may inherit the land in which you are a stranger, which God gave to Abraham. So now, what does Jacob have? He has the full blessing. He has his father's approval. All is good. All is right in the world, right? Maybe. Let's see what happens. So Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Padan Aram, to the Laban, the son of Bethuel the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. Verse 6. Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padan Aram to take himself a wife from there, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, you shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother and had gone to Padan Aram. Also Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan did not please his father Isaac. So Esau went to Ishmael and took Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebajoth, to be his wife, in addition to the wives he had. So we see here that the older brother, who should be the one leading in righteousness, but we see this pattern that he was not. Once again, he's not the leader, but he is turning to righteousness. A little late, right? But now he's trying to do good. But he's thinking that this good is going to override all the sin that he's done previously. Okay? He realizes that the wives from the Canaanites that he has taken have not been a blessing, that they have upset his parents, and that was not pleasing to them. He sees his younger brother Jacob receive the blessing, and he's being obedient. He's going to go marry from their people, not a Canaanite wife. It's like, oh, I'll marry someone who's not a Canaanite. And so who does he go to find a wife? His half-uncle Ishmael, and goes to the Ishmaelites and gets a wife. Okay? So that's kind of like, okay, that's a good thing. It's not a Canaanite. The Ishmaelites are still descendants of Abraham. But what's interesting, Ishmael, he was the son of the bondwoman. He was specifically told, okay, yes, you're going to be blessed because you're a descendant of Abraham, but you are not going to receive the promises of Abraham, the land given to Abraham. And so he's still going and getting something that is specifically told that wasn't going to receive the full blessing. Okay? So he's kind of half right, but he's still not doing it all the way, and takes on an additional wife. Instead of even reforming or getting rid of those wives, okay, there was a time in Israel's history where they're told not to marry these pagan women. They did anyway, and they had a prophet come in and tell them to divorce their wives, their pagan foreign wives, because they're bringing wickedness. Okay? And so maybe that should have been something that happened. Maybe he should have divorced those wives that he took unrighteously and had one wife who was an Ishmaelite. I don't know exactly. We don't know enough of the details to make a judgment, but it was not a good thing to take on a third wife. Okay? Even if Ishmaelite was a better choice of a spouse than a Canaanite. But either way, this Ishmaelite wife was still not a person who's supposed to be in the lineage. It was told very specifically, no one in that lineage was to be the one that inherited that. Okay, but for us, a little mini example that that our obedience is to be an example for others around us, for our siblings. Okay? Jacob obeyed his parents. He honored his parents. And what did Esau do? Okay, I want to be like that. I see that they're pleased with him. I'm going to be. So your good behavior, obeying your parents' children, is going to be an encouragement to your siblings. I honored my parents. They blessed me. And doing that, your siblings are like, I want a blessing. I'm going to honor my parents, okay? Likewise, doing bad behavior can also encourage them to do bad behavior, right? You do something naughty and your younger siblings start doing something naughty. But more general application, as Christians, we doing things to honor our God is going to be an encouragement for those around us. Maybe I should honor God too, okay? Whether it's other Christians, other believers, or just our neighbors, they could see the blessings that we are receiving from our Father in heaven, like those blessings that we've talked about in our catechism, the temporal, the earthly blessings that we receive, having a clean conscience before God. I want that. I want that blessing. I want a peace that surpasses understanding. When I've gone through hardship, when I've lost loved ones, I want to have a peace that surpasses understanding like they do. Okay, and it can be an encouragement for them to honor God, to be obedient like you have done. Okay, so it's an encouragement for us to do good that others might follow suit. Verse 10, now Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. So he came to a certain place and stayed there all night because the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of that place and put it at his head, and he lay down in that place to sleep. Then he dreamed, and behold, a ladder was set up on the earth, and its top reached to heaven, and there the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. So Jacob set off on his way back to where his family was from, back to Padan Aram, the house of Bethuel, okay? And on the way back, he stops at Beersheba. I believe that's the place of the oath that we've talked about earlier, where there's oath made over the wells, the well of the oath. And some translations, so he's getting ready to make camp because it's a long journey. So he makes camp and he gets a rock and he puts it at his head. And some translations say that he used that rock as a pillow. That sounds not comfortable, right? That's an April Fool prank, okay? You get the pillowcase of your parents or your siblings, and you fill it with rocks, and you put it in their bed, and they go lay on it, and it's hard. But don't do that to your parents here, because you'll get in trouble. Don't do your siblings, okay? But that's not something comfortable, right? Who would use a rock as a pillow? Sometimes I feel like my pillow is so hard, one of the pillows that we have, that it's like sleeping on a rock. Not comfortable. Don't like it, okay? But here it just says it is by him. And so I don't think he was actually using it as a pillow. And it seems like later because he sets it up as a monument, so it's probably a pretty good-sized rock. So maybe he had it down and he put his head to it so there weren't going to be any critters coming up slithering behind him, right? So he has back to a wall and could see in front of him, and so nothing could sneak up behind him. That's more likely. That makes more sense to me. Okay? He took one of the stones of that place and put it at his head, and then he laid down that place to sleep. But he dreams. He has a strange dream. What's in his dream? He sees a ladder going up to heaven, and what's going up and down it? Angels ascending up and down. Some translators, some commentators will say, okay, it's like a staircase maybe. Doesn't really matter. It's some device used to go up and down, right, on top of a building to the bottom of it. So a ladder works just fine, but going up and down, angels of God ascending and descending. Verse 13, and behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give to you and your descendants. Also, your descendants shall be as the dust of the earth. You shall spread abroad to the west and the east, to the north and to the south, and in you and in your seed all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land for I will not leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. So here we have Jacob, the deceiver, the heel catcher, who tricked his brother out of his birthright with a bowl of soup, who tricked his father to steal the blessing. God is confirming, even though you did not go about things the right way, the promise was supposed to come to you. You are the chosen one who's going to be made into my nation, to my chosen people. You'll have many peoples come from you. And all the inhabitants, all the nations, all the families, all the tribes of the earth shall be blessed through you. And what is that a prophecy of? Jesus, that seed that is going to crush the head of the serpent, is going to come through Jacob. He is the one that the promise can come to. And the land, this land that you're laying down on now, this is going to be for your descendants. And what else does he promise him? He promises that you're going to go away. I am with you, but I'm going to come back. I'm going to bring you back here. I am promising you. I'm making it come down. I'm bringing you back to this land. I'm going to be with you. Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go and will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. That reminds me of the song we sang this morning. He leadeth me. Right? He leadeth me by his own hand, he leadeth me. His faithful follower I would be, for by his hand he leadeth me. Right? That's what we were singing. That's what he's telling. I'm going to be with you. I'm leading you. Take my hand. I am with you. I will be your God. As the God of your father, God of your grandfather, I am your God. And I'm making this promise to you. Now think about that dream. Okay, because remember, this is his dream. God's speaking to him in his dream. They have the angels going up and down the ladder. God is standing. One translation says he's standing. He's leaning on the ladder. The Lord stood above it. The Lord standing, leaning on it. God is there. Who does he see as the Lord? I think he's seeing Jesus. When we can see God, when it's not just like the glory of God, the light, okay? He's seeing Jesus. He's seeing God standing there next to the ladder, that these angels are going up and down. Jesus has been seen as the fulfillment of the symbol of that ladder. Okay, Jesus is Jacob's ladder. That through Jesus, God is sending messengers down. He's active on earth. Okay, so yeah, what does that mean? What does it mean that you have this ladder with angels going up and down it? What are the angels doing? They just like climbing ladders? What are the angels doing? What are angels? Angels are servants of God. Angels are ministers of God. They are doing what God's commanded. They're workers. They're doing things. So when he's sending them down from heaven, he's sending them down on earth to do things, to do his activities. And they're busy. They are working for God. Okay? And then they're returning to God. Okay? They're taking messages. There's right. Another word for angel is a messenger. Okay? Another understanding and meaning of angel is messenger. Okay? Servant, messenger. So God, does he care about what's happening on earth? Is he just hoping that things go according to plan? No, he is actively involved in everything. He is sovereign over all the activities on earth, even with what just happened, with Jacob deceiving his brother and father, even with Esau wanting to kill his brother. God is still active. He has a hand. He's holding Jacob's hand through that, walking him and leading him through that. Even though Jacob sinned, even though Rebekah sinned, God is still with him. God is still leading him. God's plans will not be thwarted. Okay? God is powerful. God is mighty. And what he says will surely come to pass. So he dreams this. God speaks to him, gives him the promise, I'm going to be with you, I'll bring him back. And so verse 16, when Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Okay. So he realizes, so I don't know the thinking. I don't know all that had been going on in his mind. I don't know what his view of God was. Okay, we don't know exactly, like a lot of the false gods, a lot of the gods that they worshipped at this time, they had tribal deities. Okay, they would be the god of my tribe, and they would be territorial. Okay, it's the god of this land, but not the god of that land. Okay, so I have to take my God with me, and maybe he won't come, maybe he'll stay. So maybe that influenced the thinking of Jacob. It's like, okay, I'm leaving the land of my father, and that's where our God is. And I'm going back to the land of our fathers, but we took our God with him. He's not back there. Or maybe he's there and here, but not in between. This is pagan land. But as he's going, he makes his bed for the night. God appears to him. He's like, no, God is here. I did not know. God is here. He's real as anywhere else. So that reminds me of John chapter 4, when Jesus is talking to a woman at the well, and she's asking questions about where is the proper place to worship God. The woman said to him, verse 19, Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, and you Jews say that in Jerusalem is the place where one ought to worship. Jesus said to her, Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when you will neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship what you do not know. We know that we worship. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. Okay, so she's asking about where the proper place to worship is, on this mountain or that mountain, here, or where the temple is. And Jesus is saying it doesn't matter. You worship in spirit and in truth. That's the important thing. And that's kind of what we have, a foreshadowing of that, is he's realizing it doesn't matter the place. He's on his way somewhere else. He's in between two places. He's in the wilderness. But who's there? God is there. God is active. God is working. God is having his messengers. He's coming to him. He's in charge of it. God is there. God is with him. He's not a tribal deity. He is the King of Kings. He is the Lord of Lords. He is the one who is in control of everything. He's the one that's going to bring back Jacob to the land. Then Jacob rose early in the morning and took the stone that he had put at his head. He set it up as a pillar and poured oil on top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel, for the name of that city had been Luz previously. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, If God will be with me and keep me in this way that I am going, and give me bread to eat and clothing to put on, so that I come back to my father's house in peace, then the Lord shall be my God. And this stone which I have set as a pillar shall be God's house. And of all that you give me, I will surely give a tenth to you. So God makes a promise to Jacob that he's going to bring him back, that he's going to bless him and his descendants. Jacob realized, wow, God is here. He's with me. Okay, if this happens, if he brings me back, I am his. He will be my God. This will be his house. I'm going to put this pillar up as a reminder. So that makes no sense if it's a pillow, right? I got a little pillow rock and, oh, that's not a pillow. No, I think it's a big rock that he put his back to in sleep, and he props that pillar up, places there. Okay, that rock is now a pillar, and that's a reminder. When he comes back, when I come back, if God allows me to come back to this place, then I'm his. God will be with me and keep me in this way that I am going and give me bread to eat and clothing to put on, so that I come back to my Father's house in peace, and the Lord shall be my God. So, God is with us. And there's going to be little things in our life that ought to be memorials, like this pillar, when we come to points that we don't know how God is going to get us through. We come to the end of our own rope and I don't see any way. Okay? I don't see any way through this. It seems dark, seems hopeless, seems like what we're doing is not going to work. I don't know what to do next. But God is with us. He is leading us. God leadeth me. Right? That song. And so in our lives, we're going to come to points, and when God brings us back, when God sees us through, we need to, that's a time. So we ought to reflect, to look back at what God has done, to reflect on what God has done when he's brought us through a hard point, and give God the praise. Give God the recognition. When we go through a difficult situation, when we're in a hopeless situation, and months or days or even years later, when we get to the end of it, we can look back. We want to mark a difficult spot and say, wow, I owe God everything, right? And there should be times. So we should look back and reflect on our life and times that we've struggled through. And maybe now we're in a time that we're struggling through. And when God does bring us through this trial, we need to remember and give God praise, because he's leading us. Okay, as faithful follower I would be by God's own hand, he leadeth me. So that is encouragement for us. As Jacob is going to a strange land, foreign land, okay, that's where his mom came from. But he's a stranger, he's a foreigner. It's not the land that's been promised to his ancestors, not the land that's been promised to him. It's a strange place, it's dangerous. His brother wants to kill him, but God is leading him. God is with him. And when God brings him back to this place, God will be praised and receive the praise.